Something unusual. I've got somebody here that I actually met the day she hiked out of the Smoky Mountains, Davenport Gap. She had something else on, an orange outfit, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. And she only told me one thing before I cut my camera on, and it's about the Smokies. And I said, I'm gonna ask you. I said, I usually don't talk to people before I interview them. Now she's walked into Hot Springs. And so we almost got to redo an interview or something. But anyway, you're going to get to see the thing that just makes me laugh every time I think about it. Give me your trail name.
Moss.
Moss, M-O-S-S.
That's correct.
Okay, how do you get a name called Moss?
It happened day 2 on trail. And I was hiking with these 2 women, and I had to pee, and it was on the slope of a mountain where there's no good place to go for a woman. So one of them said, just go ahead of us, we'll watch you here, there's no one coming southbound, turn the corner, pee, and we'll be right here. So okay, cool. So I go around the corner, step off trail, I find a tree, I use the trail. I wasn't very good at peeing back then because it was day 2, and I find this tree, so I squat down, pee, go to pull my britches up, and I start walking, and I'm like, oh God, what's happening? And so I walked back up to the girls, and I said to Georgia, I said, I'm pretty sure there's moss in my hoo-ha. And she stood there, and she covered her mouth, and she started laughing, and I'm still standing there like waiting on a response. And when she finished laughing, she said, that's your trail name. And I said, hoo-ha? And she goes, no, moss. And here we are.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Because
the tree was covered in moss.
Was covered and you bent down to it.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing you told me, you said you hated the Smokies. And the way you said it that day, I said, I've got to get this on camera. So go back and tell me why you hate the Smoky Mountains.
Okay, so a handful of reasons. Number 1, the weather resembles that of the Hunger Games. If you've ever seen that movie, read the book. Like, someone is just standing by a control panel and hitting buttons every 5 minutes as to what the weather is going to be or what it's going to, bring you. It's a lot of challenges. It's rewarding because of the views, but if I had to do them over again, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. It was not fun for me. I didn't like it. So the weather's number 1. Number 2 would be that every hiker is going to more or less the same location every day because of where the shelters are placed. Do you want to go 3 miles or do you want to go 10 miles? Well, most thru hikers are going to choose 10 miles, obviously. There was no good places to stealth camp. We had to pitch tents because the shelters were full, but all the tent spaces were not even. They're not designed for tents, most of them. So that presented a challenge. There weren't very many options for water sources. All of them were at the shelters, and some of the shelters were half a mile off trail. Nobody wants to hike a half a mile off trail when they've hiked miles all day long. So there was that. Not very many places to get a hitch into town. I think only 2. They don't allow dogs. How do you not allow dogs?
Yeah.
So there's that, and you had to pay to go in the Smokies. You literally had to pay money to hike in somewhere like you had to pay to get brutalized by the weather and the no water sources and the crowded locations, and I just don't understand that part of it. But I don't make the rules. So there's a list of reasons. I could go on, and if there was a t-shirt, me and another hiker, Hayes, have decided that if we ever made a t-shirt, it would say something about the Smokies on the front that I shouldn't say out loud, and on the back it would list all the reasons why we don't like the Smokies.
Okay, so you've done the Smokies, and now you're in Hot Springs, which means you've done another 40 miles or something like that. How's the last 40 miles been?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. Waterfalls, river, great look, great views. The terrain hasn't been too terrible. I've loved it.
What about the weather though since you've left? Had you had a little bit of snow or anything or nothing?
We had snow flurries yesterday morning or the morning before that, but they didn't stick, and it wasn't too terrible. The weather wasn't too terrible. We hiked in the rain one morning, but it cleared up.
Tell me how long you've been thinking about doing this and what caused you to decide to do this.
So I've been thinking about doing a through hike since about 2018. I did a bunch of sections with one of my coworkers, and he taught me basically everything I need to know. Hi, Rich. And so I did some sections, and then last year work got super stressful, and I decided to take a break from it and attempt a through hike.
Okay, so what kind of work will you go back to?
I'm a paramedic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go right back to the same town, the same job?
Absolutely. I
Really?
believe they would take me back, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You didn't take a leave of absence? You just had to quit and then go back, or what?
That's correct.
Okay. And how do you enjoy it? I was a firefighter for 30 years.
Cool.
So how do you enjoy the 911 stuff?
It presents us challenges. Every day is a different day. You don't know what you're getting into every morning or every night when you come on shift. So there's that aspect of it. It's very gratifying sometimes, and you know, a lot of times it's the little things that make the job worth it. And it's not necessarily, you know, giving someone a medication. It's quite literally holding their hand and talking to them and listening to them. A lot of the little things, tucking them in, you know, helping them with their medications, fixing them something to eat after you help them off the floor.
Right.
It's a lot of those little things that make the job gratifying.
Right. Now, back out to the trail. Are you already anticipating anything further north that you know about?
Yeah, McAfee Knob I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Most photographed place.
Yeah, Damascus I'm looking forward to, Harper's Ferry, everything.
Okay, you've got
Just
a lot
everything.
looking for. Okay, I'm not going to keep you much longer, but I keep thinking about that experience in the beginning. Did you get all that straightened out, or I mean it?
It was a false alarm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, false alarm. Crisis was averted.
Okay.
Turns out I did not have an organism in my hoo-ha. It was just the moss from the tree was on my britches, and when I pulled my britches up, it was in my britches. So as I walked throughout the next 20 minutes or whatever, I guess gravity did its thing, and it came out of my pants, and all was well.
What a story. I mean, how else can you get a trail name, guys? What a story. Anybody you want to say hello to before I let you get out of here?
My mom and dad, my Aunt Patty, Aunt Pam, Kylie, and Preston. My brother's getting married today, so congratulations, Matt.
Yes, yes.
And of course, Rich, and pretty much all my coworkers back in Brunswick County. You guys are doing well.
Keep smiling, and I hope I find you up the trail again, and we can do another interview and see if you've had any other little mishaps along the trail. God bless every step between here and Katahdin, and keep that smile on your face, girl.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.